Commence primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and thank you for watching one of my pre-release guides for Star Wars Unlimited's new and fourth set, Jump to Lightspeed. Now, Jump to Lightspeed pre-release begins on March 7th, where you're going to be introduced to new cards with new mechanics, new leader actions, new abilities, and new tokens. You're also going to see the growth among factions in Star Wars, like Rebels, Resistance, First Order, and Imperial. If this is your first time watching one of my guides, I'll let you know that we're going to be looking at commons and uncommons within this set that can strengthen the synergy with the leader you choose to play. There are going to be some great rares and legendaries that fit really well with some of these leaders, but the chances of you pulling a rare or legendary that does that is going to be a lot slimmer than your chance of pulling a common or uncommon in your 6 booster packs that can really fill out your deck and the theme you're working for. With that said, let's begin to look at some of these leaders and see what kind of fun we can have on pre-release day. The hero of Yavin, Luke Skywalker, is of course going to be in Star Wars Unlimited's Jump to Lightspeed set. Now, as a leader, you can use an action to exhaust him, and if you attacked with a fighter unit this phase, deal 1 damage to another unit. This is pretty great. It has a few conditions, but continuous damage is really going to help you get ahead in any game. Now, you have to have a fighter unit in play, you have to get the attack to happen, and you have to have another unit worth damaging on the board to really take advantage of this. So that means you need 2 units, and one of them have to be yours and ready to attack, right? So that's going to make a lot of cards that say attack with a unit very powerful, because you can speed up Luke's process, and that's very important because you want to keep initiative when you have aggressive leaders like this. Now, as an epic action, you can deploy Luke when you have 6 or more resources, but you can have 2 choices now. You can either deploy him as a leader unit on the ground, that's a 5/6, or you can deploy him as an upgrade on a friendly vehicle that has no pilot on it. Luke then becomes the pilot upgrade on that vehicle. This upgrade says that it can't be defeated by enemy card abilities, so they can't just use a card to remove the upgrade. And the attached unit is now the leader unit. If it's a fighter, it's going to gain an on-attack trigger that says you may deal 3 damage to a unit, and that fighter gets a +4/+5 from Luke upgrading it. So overall, like, Luke is definitely a threat. With a turn before you deploy Luke, you want to make sure you put out a really good ship. So you're looking at strong ships in the 5 cost most of the time, or 4 costs, something that once Luke pilots it is going to be difficult for them to remove. And definitely is going to be a big powerhouse. So in order to get there, though, you need strong tempo, because you really want to make that final turn where Luke deploys very effective. And by say final, I do mean like your goal is to pretty much beat them the turn Luke comes out, if not the turn after. So some of the cards in the leader aspects I'm going to recommend. First one's going to be Captain Tarkin. If you're going to be swinging every turn, get some value out of it with this uncommon. He's a 3-cost 2/5 that says each friendly vehicle unit gets +1/+0 and Overwhelm. Overwhelm says when attacking an enemy unit, you deal the excess damage to the opponent's base. So any damage that they can't absorb because they die is going to allow you to put more damage on the base, giving you more room next turn. Red 5 is going to be Luke Skywalker's signature card. It's a 3-cost 3/4 that says on attack, you may deal 2 damage to a damaged unit. Obviously, it coincides with what Luke's doing. You want it to swing every turn because there's a benefit. Great card. And last is the common Red Squadron Y-Wing. It's a 2-cost 1/3 unit that says on attack, deal 3 indirect damage to the defending player. Now, indirect is one of the new mechanics in Jump to Lightspeed, and it's one of my favorite ones I've seen in several Star Wars games prior to Unlimited. This allows the opponent to assign the damage however they choose, and this damage is unpreventable. This makes the opponent stop to think about what really is going to benefit them. Should they allow a certain amount of damage on their units? Should they let one unit take it all? Should they let the base take it all? These kind of questions just are enough to put your opponent a little bit on tilt, pull them out of their focus, have them rethinking their strategy. And for that, that's one of the reasons why I love this mechanic. In the aggression aspect, I mentioned this earlier, a card like Stay on Target is going to give you really solid value. You pay 2 for this event, you attack with a vehicle unit, it gets +2, and if you hit a base, you draw a card. This means afterwards, your next action, you can use Luke's ability because you've already attacked, and if there's another enemy unit in play, you can damage it. You draw a card, you hit hard, and you get to ping a few things. It's pretty good value. The next is the Kogrin turn, or what is known as the K turn for people who used to play Star Wars Rogue Squadron. The K turn is a 3-cost event that just says you can ready a fighter or a transport unit with 6 or less power. You're going to have a lot of low-cost units. Whatever Luke gets on, you can have the option of readying and attacking again, hopefully to close out your your whole game. But remember, Luke has that on attack trigger, and so does Red 5. So using those things is really going to be consistent and getting a lot of damage spreading across the board. If you go Vigilance, consider the Royal Security Fighter. It's a 2-cost space unit, but it does have grit. If you're playing your pilots correctly, you can really have a strong attacking unit in play for quite some time. Your All Clear Kid can also give you a benefit with Royal Security Fighter, because this is a 2-cost event that allows you to defeat a unit with a space unit with 3 or less remaining HP. And if you do, and your opponent controls no more space units, you get an experience counter token on a unit. Putting that on cards like the Security Fighter or even Red 5 are just going to ensure that they can stay in play for a good amount of time. Black Squadron Scout Wing, we've talked about that the turn before Luke comes out is very important. So cards that can cost 5 are going to be really essential to a game-winning strategy. So look at Black Squadron Scout Wing. It's a 5-cost space unit that's a 4/6. When you play an upgrade on this unit, you may attack with this unit. It gets +1/+0 for this attack. Whether you're using this for Luke or not, playing an upgrade immediately allows you to resolve some of the conditions for Luke's trigger. But if you're going to put Luke on this, oh my gosh. Luke's going to not only raise this power significantly, it gets a +1/+0, gets to attack immediately, and deals Luke's on attack trigger. That's a really solid setup going into your 5th turn. Anakin Skywalker is another one to consider because he's a 2-cost ground unit where you can have a 2/3 in the ground arena, or you can try his spinning ability where he can pilot a vehicle for 2, and if he survives the attack, after completing the attack, after he completes the attack, you may return him to your hand. If you do return him, there's some benefit with this. It allows you to save the pilot that was buffing one of your units. You can find yourself in small little combos like the Black Squadron Scout Wing, and you can also just ensure that Anakin isn't dying from your opponent's ambush or defeat effects. He's going to give that vehicle +2/+2, which is a fair value when you're only paying 2 for the piloting skill. If you're going to go command, the Veteran Fleet Officer offers you a little bit of just going wide strategy here. You're playing a quick game. Again, you need a vehicle to hit. So the Veteran Fleet Officer at least gives you something on the ground and an X-Wing token in the space arena. X-Wing tokens are 2/2 space units. Now, Red Leader is a 4-cost 3/4, and it says it cost 1 less, for to play for each friendly pilot and upgrade, pilot unit and upgrade you have. So you can get this card a little bit early. It's not horrible when it's a 3/4, and it also reads that when a pilot upgrade attaches to the unit, you can create an X-Wing token. So I think that's where you're going to see a little bit more value in that. Again, going wide with that strategy, allowing you to continue to hit Luke's ability every turn. Keep that momentum going with dedicated wingmen. Give yourself 2 X-Wing tokens so that way you can continue with the trend and your tempo of damage. The Resistance X-Wing is another unit that gets better when you put a pilot on it, giving it a +1/+1. You can look at these non-aspect cards with Swarming Vulture Droid. It's a 2/2. You can, the more Swarming Vulture Droids you have in play, you will get a +1 bonus on each of them. None of them are horrible. They're great 2-cost units, and you need that tempo every turn. The Flanking Fang Fighter, if you're playing a bunch of fighters, you want this card. It's a 3-cost space unit that is a 2/3, but as long as you control another fighter, it gets raid 2. Whether it's Luke piloting this or Anakin or a generic clone, you get a lot of value with the Fang Fighter being equipped and going with your vehicle strategy. So Luke Skywalker has a lot of options. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. The art on the main card I think is great. So let me know how it works for you at your future pre-release or sealed event for Jump to Lightspeed. What rares or legendaries did you end up getting that worked well with Luke? Was there a certain color you really enjoyed? I'm curious. I want to know. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. Good luck at your future events, and may the Force be with you.